So to know how NHD works, you actually need to appreciate the miracle that is your human body. We all take it for granted, and I know you've heard me say that before, but it is incredible to think that you have over 70 trillion living cells. Like, that's a huge number. Just let me give you some statistics to give you some sense of what's going on inside of you and inside of me, inside of each one of us. Your heart will beat 40 million times in the next year. If it stops, you're in trouble, right? So this is a muscle in your human body that is repairing itself on the move. Anytime anything goes wrong, it has to fix itself on the move, or else you're in trouble. 40 million times that muscle beats in 1 year. And if you were to take the blood vessels in your body, because there are millions of them, if you think about it, you're going to have to connect to 70 trillion living cells. That's a very big number. To give you a sense of how big that number is, if you were to start counting now at the speed of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and keep going day and night, it's going to take you 36,000 years to reach 1 trillion. And you have 70 trillion living cells in your human body. This is a very, very, very complicated machine with an awesome power and an amazing capacity to heal itself. In the 30 years I've been a practitioner and more, I have seen the most amazing things happen in the human body once you basically take your foot off the hose and allow the body to heal itself by applying natural principles. And that's what you're going to learn to do. So you've got this amazing body with all these cells. If you were to take all the little blood vessels in your body that have to reach the 70 trillion living cells and put them end to end, they would stretch twice around the world, over 50,000 miles. Like, that sounds totally nutty. So you see, we're dealing with something that is absolutely amazing and awesome. It is the pinnacle of creation, and it has built into it an amazing capacity to heal itself. And what's even more amazing is, built into it is an amazing capacity to tell you what you need to do to heal yourself. This is NHD. This is the interface between your supercomputer that's running the show, we'll call it your brain, and your physical body. Now your brain, just take your brain alone, has 100 billion nerve cells. Now you think about the size of your head, it's not that big. 100 billion different wires, if you like, or neurons in your brain. I mean, this is amazing stuff. And yet you can access that through the simplest system that we're going to teach you. And you can literally ask questions and get answers. While these facts are very interesting, there are a few more things that we need to do before we do the physical training. So we're beginning to understand that there is more going on than what we appreciate and what we see. We know we have thoughts and we know we have feelings, and they exist in an energy field or another dimension which we cannot perceive with our eyes. Don't think you'll have too much problem in accepting that. Whether we understand it or not is a different matter. So there is an energy field around your body. That's the next thing we need to understand. And it is in that energy field that your thoughts and your feelings exist. And for that matter, your acupuncture fields and all the other things that are now beginning to be discovered. They're real and they exist and they're there. They're part of life, they're part of who you are, but they're not physical. And yet, in some amazing and magical way, there is an interface between this energy field and your physical brain. And I'm using the analogy of a supercomputer because the supercomputer is as in the supercomputer that we've made on this earth, is a very dim reflection of the incredible supercomputer that runs your body, running trillions of programs every second to keep everything working. Now, when I talk about the supercomputer, I'm talking about your subconscious and your unconscious mind. Just think about this for a second. You're not actually sitting there telling your heart to beat, are you? You're not actually consciously involved in breathing. You're not even consciously involved in movement a lot of the time. You don't tell your eyes to flick. You don't tell your ears to listen. All that stuff is, for want of a better word, automatic. It all happens as a result of this incredible supercomputer and all that it knows to do in your subconscious and your unconscious mind. So let's take that a little step further. Let's go to the point where we're actually saying that you were born as, well, you were created as two cells coming together, a sperm and an egg. That's amazing, right? 2 cells. And somehow, through the magic of creation and the life force that is breathed into that at the time of conception, those 2 cells multiply and multiply and multiply to create what we call the human body, the magic of life. So somehow, some of those cells know how to become nail cells, while others know how to become eye cells, others know how to become an ear, another knows how to become a foot or a toe. It's pretty amazing, right? So there is a force, a life force of creation behind what we see. And that's what we're able to access. So your supercomputer has access to this incredible knowledge. It knows what's going on. It put it there. The fact that you have a body in its present state is only there because your supercomputer, your subconscious and your unconscious, and this interaction between the life force of creation has made you who you are. So let's think about this logically. If your supercomputer has made you who you are, a physical body that's there, whether it's perfect or not, whether it's chronically sick or not, it knows what's there because it put it there. And it knows the imbalances and the problems that have caused you to be unwell or chronically ill. It knows because it put them there. Now, it probably put them there as a response to stress, and perhaps not the best response to stress, but nevertheless, it knows. And it knows how to fix it too, because it was designed to be perfect. So the amazing truth is that buried inside in your subconscious and your unconscious mind are all the keys that you need to be healthy and to bring yourself from whatever state of ill health you are back to a state of vibrant health. That's an amazing reality. And that's actually where we're going with NHD. We can all improve our health every day. Tomorrow you can be healthier than you are today, or tomorrow you can be less healthy. You aren't going to stay still. Whichever way you go, you're going to get better or you're going to get worse. And as you apply natural principles and as you educate yourself and start thinking about these very profound and simple truths, you're going to see some amazing things happen in your life. So let's bring this energy I'm talking about back down to a more physical understanding. Yes, we are made of energy. That is the reality. But did you know that we're made up of atoms and molecules? If you're in the world of science, you'll probably understand that. It goes atoms and molecules, which come together then to produce tissues and cells, all these things. It's a highly complex thing. But there is an understanding in science, has been for many, many years, that we are basically made up of atoms and molecules. Molecules are collections of atoms. Atoms are what? Atoms are considered the basic building blocks of life. So now ask somebody who's involved in the atomic world, a nuclear scientist, what is an atom? And you'll get a fascinating answer. Because you say, what's an atom made up of? And he'll tell you 99.9% empty space. And what's in there? Oh, the swirling energy in there. They're called electrons. Well, what are they? They're flying around pieces of energy, but we don't know where they are and they have no mass whatsoever. And what else is in there? Well, there's this tiny little thing in the very center called a neutron, which is so incredibly tiny that we can't even see it or anything. This is tiny, tiny, tiny. So what is an atom? An atom is actually swirling vibrational energy. That's all an atom is. That's basically what the nuclear scientists will tell you. So if we're made up of atoms and molecules, and they come together to produce bigger molecules and proteins and carbohydrates and vitamins and all these things which are made up out of atoms and molecules, the atoms and molecules themselves are made up out of swirling vibrational energy. So that's what we are. We look at the physical world and we see physical stuff. In reality, all it is swirling vibrational energy made up of atoms and molecules. So when we think of energy and we speak about energy, we need to expand our minds a little bit beyond the idea that energy is just that stuff I have to be able to get up and run around, or even that stuff that I might get if I switch on an electric light. Energy is everywhere. Energy is everything. Life is energy. So it's not true to say that our bodies contain energy. It's truer to say that our bodies are energy. And this is very, very significant, because when we're dealing with the subconscious and the unconscious mind, we're dealing with energy patterns, patterns of vibrational energy. When we're testing a muscle, as you saw in that demonstration, what we're doing is we're testing the vibrational energy of different foods to see if they match the vibrational energy of the body. And your supercomputer has this incredible scanner running all the time. And it's scanning the whole environment. It's scanning everything that's going on. You don't even see it or feel it. And it's not necessarily using your eyes, although it does use your eyes a lot. It's an awareness. Think about this. Have you ever walked into a room, a crowded room, and just felt uncomfortable? You didn't know why, you just didn't feel comfortable. That's because the energy field around you, which is probably 6, 7, or 8 feet wide, has bumped into the energy field of somebody else. And the two energy fields didn't like each other, and you got that sense this doesn't feel comfortable. So let's start to understand that we're more than a physical body. This is very, very important. It's important for your healing. It's important for every aspect of life. If you want to be vibrationally and vibrantly healthy, you're going to have to expand your mind a little bit. Now, it's not too difficult because, after all, it's very common sense, isn't it? It's very logical. Everything I've said fits. It's just we don't think about it very often. So take this fact that around you is what they call an aura, this energy field. And some people can actually see it, and they can see it as multiple colors, and most of us don't. Around your body are many, many, many forms of energy, and running within your body are many forms of energy, including acupuncture energy. Now, the interesting thing about that is that in times gone by, modern medicine, which is a very, very narrow view of life, just sees the physical, doesn't look at any other aspect, they denied acupuncture existed. They said that's nonsense, it's for the birds. But in recent times, equipment has been discovered or made that actually can measure acupuncture points. And it bleeps every time it touches one. You can't see them, they're on the skin, but when it passes over one, it bleeps. So now modern medicine says, well, that must be okay now because we can measure it. Of course, there are many things going on we can't measure, not with scientific equipment, but with NHD and using the muscle monitoring system, you really can. It's astounding. It's exciting. It's amazing. You're going to get such a buzz out of this as you start to understand what's going on and as you start to develop the systems. Now, we have many training programs that will take you in many directions according to which way you want to go. But the whole point is you now have access to the source of life, to the energy of life. So this is a very, very powerful reality that I'm presenting to you.